Hey, how y'all doing? So, on July 8th, I did a video where I said I was taking a break and wasn't going to be doing any new content until probably the last week of August or the first week of September. Well, you know what? I had to do this video. I'm going to be talking about mom. I'm going to be talking about, well, mom stuff. And I just had to talk about it now. I mean, I may start putting out new content after this, pretty quickly, or I may still wait until the end of August, but you know what? I've got to talk about this now. So on July 8th, I mentioned that, mom would be coming home in a few weeks and that I thought she was going to need a lot more attention. So what ends up happening is that on July 23rd, I had to go to what they called a discharge meeting or discharge planning meeting. So this means that, she was going to be coming home fairly soon and they wanted to talk to me about it. Now, I've been in healthcare now, what is this? 2021. So I've been in healthcare 38 years as of August 3rd. That's the first day I started working at a hospital in 1983. So here you are, 38 years later. So I know something about healthcare, mainly hospitals, a little bit about nursing home, a little bit about procedures. So I go in there, I'm a little early, so I go see mom. And mom is sitting in this area in a wheelchair and she looks zoned out. And she's not the only one. I had visited her the week before and she was sitting in this one little cubby area that this nursing home had decided was going to be part of their, well, I'll say recreation room. It was horrible. It was smaller than the rooms that the residents were in, of all things. And it was open, but it was right outside the nurses' station so they could look over. And the first time I went there were about 14 residents there. Everybody was in a wheelchair. And only 3 of the people were actually cognizant enough to do anything. Everyone else is basically just sitting there, either kind of with their eyes closed like mom, or just staring. I mean, really, it was kind of disturbing. They didn't have anyone over there actually working with any of them. Because just like probably the rest of the country, there's a shortage of people to work in these nursing homes. I mean, they're getting paid, not all that much money to do what is a very rough job. I acknowledge that. It's a tough job taking care of, older patients and trying to get them to eat and drink and do all kinds of things and changing them. And I mean, it's not easy. So I acknowledge that. But kind of, to sit them all out there like that without one person who's always there trying to at least get them engaged or talking to them or socializing with them, it was just horrible. I thought it was horrible. So that particular Friday, I get there and I knew the meeting was there. I let them know, tell the social worker, I'm here. I'm just going down to see mom. And so I go down to see mom and, all things mom, even though her eyes were closed, she opened them up a little brief and she looked at me and she took my hand in hers and I said, yeah, there we go. We're somewhere. So now I go down to this meeting and I know something is up as soon as I walk in the room because there's 4 people in there. That's not usually how that works. You usually don't have 4 people for discharge planning, but in this case, there were 4 people. So I decide, okay, I'm adopting my professional role in this. So I sit back and I just do this, hands like this, and I let them start. So it starts off with the director of physical therapy who says that over the last 3 to 4 weeks, he hadn't been able to do anything with my mother because she was just zoned out. She was so tired, she couldn't do anything. They couldn't get her, to stand up. They couldn't get her to walk. They couldn't get her to do anything. She just spent all of her day sleeping. Now, from a professional standpoint, since she was in rehab there, she was not, in a nursing home permanently. She's there for rehab. As soon as rehab stopped and they couldn't do anything, he should have basically written up a plan for her to be discharged. But they didn't do that. That's how it's supposed to work. That's, you stop that so that you can inform Medicare. Okay, now we're going to let the family know, within 3 days, we can't get anything done. The first place she was at, that's what they did, because she's there for rehab. She's not there to be, admitted as a resident. So he says his piece, done. I looked at the next person, who's the nurse manager on the floor. I said, okay, go ahead. And I said that, actually said that. And she says, yeah, your mother, she's just, tired all the time. And, it takes 2 of us to do all these different things that we do for her, and we just have trouble. We can't get her to eat. We can't get her to drink. Every once in a while she'll do a little bit, but we just can't do anything. We can't motivate her to do anything. And okay. Get to the next lady. Well, I'm the Medicaid coordinator, and I'm going to help you to sign your mother up for Medicaid coverage. I said, well, I can stop you right there. My mother makes too much money. She doesn't qualify for Medicaid. And since she's coming home with me, I don't need any of that. And she seemed stunned by that, but I wasn't, because I had this feeling when I saw 4 people that they were going to be angling toward me putting her in a nursing home. Wasn't going to happen. Then it gets to the social worker, and the social worker says, well, I got an email this morning. I got an email this morning saying that your mother's Medicare coverage actually ended on July 11th. And so they had put her in private pay. So she's been in private pay since July 11th. I said, really? And how much is it to stay here every single day? She said $375. I said, oh, wow. Since I'm not going to be paying that, obviously, because no one informed me that her Medicare days had ended, even though I asked for that the day she got here and was told that someone was going to be checking that out, I'm not going to worry about that. She's coming home. So let's talk about that, her coming home. I think that she needs to come home within 3 days. This is Friday. I need to make sure. I wasn't sure how this was going to work as far as timing, but I want her home. I want her home on Tuesday so I can set it up so I have some people there to help me with her that I need to know that. I need to protect the house. So that's how we end it. So we ended that day just like that. And I leave. So I get home, and now I have to start making plans. So I contact my neighbor next door, who it turns out is not only a former certified nurse assistant, but she's a former licensed practical nurse. So I got her. She's going to come over and help, that Tuesday if I need help, and she'll definitely be there Wednesday morning. Fine. Got that covered. I called my friend Kelvin. I said, I may need some physical backup because I'm not sure, how they're going to get mom in the house. I just want someone else there with me. He says, I'm there. And, right off the bat, that's all I have. I have to go out and buy something that they call a gait belt so I can lift her, because if she's going to be as limp as she was in a nursing home, which means she's not going to be able to help me, I need something to help me lift her. And while I'm at the place buying this gait belt, I'm telling them, I'm trying to find this ramp, but I can't seem to find a ramp because the ramps are too wide for my door. And he says, go over to this tool supply store that's right across the street. He said, they will have something you can use. So I go across the street, and they got these metal ramps that you actually put on trucks, like, to get things done on trucks. It holds 1,500 pounds, and there's 2 of them, and each one is 9 inches. The space in my door is 24 inches. It's like perfect. And it only costs $70. Now, I put this out there because there are folks who are paying $500 or more for ramps. I mean, portable ramps to get in their house. If you're talking about those real big ramps where they have to build it, that's a different story. But portable ramps, they're paying up to $500 for a 30-inch ramp that doesn't hold nearly 1,500 pounds. Yes, it's wooden and it's, a little different. But you know what? $70. It's 6 feet long, 2 sides. It covers the wheelchair. Fine. You know what? I'm thinking, wow, what a deal I got. I wonder how come more people don't know about this. So I'm all set. So we get to Tuesday morning, and she's supposed to be home by 11. I get this call around 10. Now, I guess they called at 9:45, but I was in the shower because she's supposed to be home by 11. I get this call around 10, and it's the social worker, and she says, well, we got a phone call this morning from, she didn't actually say who, but we got a phone call this morning, and the facility is denying her discharge. I said, wait, okay, what do you mean denying discharge? Well, we're not approving it. We don't believe that, she's ready to come home, and we're not sure about your situation, so we're denying the discharge. You can still bring her home, but you have to do it against medical advice. I said, you call me an hour before she's supposed to get home to tell me that? What is this about? Why couldn't you tell me that last week? Well, this is the day they meet, so they met early this morning. I said, no, that's bogus. That, y'all knew that we were having that meeting last Friday. That should have been said ahead of time. I'm still bringing her home. I want her home. So yes, I'm doing this against medical advice. Now here's the thing about against medical advice. What that basically means is that when someone is sent home from a nursing home who's been in for rehab, one of the things they do is they contact an agency in town, and we have 3 of them, but there's one that's the the best, and so most people go to them. So that then the next day they will come over and they will assess the patient who is home, and then they will help with physical therapy, maybe occupational therapy if they're capable of different types of things like that. But they come in and they make these decisions, and then you set up a plan. Well, in this case, because it's against medical advice, they don't set that up. And you can't do it yourself because you have to have a referral for them to come in the house to get Medicare to cover it. So that was the first thing. The second thing, which I didn't know about, is that then they call Adult Protection Services. And they tell them that I brought them home against medical advice, and they give their reason why. And then Adult Protective Services call you. I didn't know that was coming. But still. So mom comes home, and mom is lethargic. She's leaning over, tired. I've got the ramps set up. And so, this guy brings her in, and he goes ahead and pushes her up. He had to switch to my wheelchair because they had the wheelchair there. It was too wide. Because I told him, this is only 24 inches. He says, oh, mine's not getting in there. I said, transfer her to mine. So he transferred her to mine. He has to do his job, which is he takes her in the house. I show him where to take it, which is her bedroom to her reclining lift chair, the nice cushy one. And, he takes her in there and he puts her in the chair. I raise it up. She's there. She's out. Great. I go out with him. I said, okay, how much do I owe you? How do I pay you? He says, they actually covered this. I thought, well, that's interesting because no one else has ever covered her transport home or anything. Transport home, transfer from the hospital. He said, well, they covered it. And he says, they say you don't owe anything on this. Interesting. So, now, mom is home. Mom, after maybe 30 minutes, opens her eyes. Hi, how you doing? I'm talking to mom. She has no idea what I'm saying. But she's actually alert. Her eyes are open. She's looking at me. She's looking at my friend Kelvin. And for 2 days, mom was fairly alert. She was able to, we can't have full conversations, but every once in a while we could talk a little bit with each other, and she would make noise. Well, she hadn't talked there in maybe 3 or 4 weeks, but mom was kind of talking. We had a little thing going. I put on a couple of movies that I knew she liked, and she even yelled at one of them, which says, okay, there's mom. She still wouldn't eat for me, but I was able to get her to drink liquid. Come on, drink something. So I was able to get her to drink. And in the drinks, that's where I crushed up the pill. So at least I was getting the medication in her. I was getting her to drink. But after 2 days, she totally shut down. Almost catatonic, if you ask me. She had no energy whatsoever. The only time she had energy was when I had to clean her up. And then, of course, she would fight, because most people don't like being cleaned up. It doesn't matter. You really don't. Unless you're really rich and you've been paying someone to help clean you up for a long time, and when you didn't need it, y'all know what I'm saying. Most people don't want to willingly be cleaned up by someone else. It's embarrassing. Even for someone who has dementia like mom, it's embarrassing. Still, I had to do it. It's my job. The first day, my neighbor came over to help me. The next day, I basically had to do it on my own. It's hard. Mom is not a Thumbelina. Mom is between 185 to 200 pounds. I am bigger than mom. That's how come I didn't try to lose more weight, but I'm still recovering from my shoulder surgery. I don't have any general pain now except after, physical therapy or after lifting my mother. And that's the thing we're working on in the physical therapy, as a matter of fact, need more weights. So anyway, now I've gotten to a point where she is just total shut down and she is just sleeping all the time. And I'm freaked. I'm just like, my goodness, maybe they were right. Maybe I can't take care of her. Maybe she's beyond, what I can do. And I was just depressed. And you know what? Mom wasn't eating. I wasn't eating, which is bad because I'm diabetic. So it was just miserable. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat. Glucose was going all over the place. I got lucky that I didn't crash because, actually, I don't know why I didn't crash. But anyhow, so that next Tuesday, I decided I've got to do something. I've got to get, some help in a different way. So I called the county first and I let them know what was going on. And because I've been in contact with the county, I've been in contact with the ombudsman's office for the county. I've been in contact with this another agency for the county. So in other words, I've been in touch. That was while mom was in the facility. And I talked to hospice. And hospice lady said, okay, we'll try to get some things going for you. I said, thank you, for the help. Because I needed someone with professional experience to help me out. So now I feel at least a little bit better. Look, there's some people who are doing some things for me, and they're all telling me thank you for bringing your mother home, because we have a shortage of staff in these nursing homes. I'm sure you're going to give her a lot more attention than what she's been getting. So I needed that because I want mom to stay home. So Wednesday night, I decided, okay, I've got to do some other things I've got to take care of. And one of those things was to cancel this place that she'd been going 3 days a week for adult daycare services. And there's a lot that they do. They're a very good place. Place is called Silver Fox. And, there's a lot. And they all like mom a lot, which is interesting. But, mom's always been kind of likable. Even though, mom is an only child, I'm an only child. Only children, after a while, we're a little weird. But they love her for that, and that just works out well. So I called them to cancel the service, and I get this lady on the phone who's not who I expected. I thought the person who was going to answer was the person who's like the director there, the program director there. But instead, I get the lady who is the therapist. So I tell her why. I said, yes, mom has come home from the place last week, but she's just not there, and I'm worried. I don't think that she's ever going to be able to come back to Silver Fox. I'm not sure how long. And she says, can I come over? I said, what do you mean? No, can I come see your mom? I said, when? She says, now. Really? Yeah. I can be there 20, 25 minutes. Sure. And it's like, wait, someone with that experience is going to be coming to the house? Because even though my neighbor is a former LPN, she hasn't done LPN work in 30 years. So things have changed a little bit on her, and she's done a lot of things over time. So this lady comes to the house, and she goes to mom, and mom is just kind of out of it, and, Betty, come on, Betty, hi, Betty. And with about 5 minutes, mom opens her eyes, looks at her, and smiles. It's like, whoa, mom hasn't had any kind of reaction to anyone, even me, nothing. Since, 4 days ago, or actually at that point, it was about 6 days, and here she is. So she's got a little something. She says, yeah, hi, how you doing? And she couldn't fully understand everything, but she's got something. So then she starts checking some things. And mom had this gigantic, big scar on her heel that looked horrible. My neighbor had seen it, and we'd put some stuff on it. So I peeled everything off, and she looked at it, and she says, whoa, that's bad. Let me take a picture of that. So she took a picture, and she sent it to the nurse who works for this facility. And the nurse said, don't put anything on it. Let it dry. It needs to. And then she checks mom's stomach, because mom didn't have a bowel movement in 9 days that she'd been home. I don't know if she'd had one there, but she hadn't had anything because she's not eating any food. So the therapist feels this spot. She says, oh yeah, we got to do something about that. So they decide they're going to give mom a suppository the next day. I said, really, you're going to come back tomorrow and do this? She says, yeah, I'll bring someone with me. And I said, do I have to be here for that? I don't care if it's mom. I don't care if it might have been dad. I don't care if it's my best friend. I wouldn't have cared any. I did not want to see that. I'm glad I didn't have to do it. Because no one, no. She said, no, we'll take care of it. And then she tries to do a couple of things with mom. I had to help. We were able to get her to actually take 3 steps. And that was amazing because, at the place where they got other professionals, they said they hadn't been able to get her to move for like 3 weeks. We got her to take 3 steps. Now, we had some other adventures and stuff that happened, whatever, but the thing is, mom showed a little bit of energy. That was a big deal. So they were going to come back the next day. So they came back on the Friday. She came back on the Friday with someone else, and they go to do this thing, and they said, tell me, leave. Come back in a couple hours. So I leave. I take myself to lunch at Olive Garden, and I'm hungry, which was interesting because Thursday night was the first time in about 3 weeks that I was actually hungry. I was trying to eat food. It was just like I couldn't really eat anything. I was throwing away a whole bunch of food. I was eating cookies, which probably is what kept me from like having lows, but it was also affecting my body, just eating all that sugar. But at least it was something. I could still eat sweet things, but I didn't have any ice cream for like 2 or 3 weeks. I was just eating cookies. I was eating Reese's peanut butter cups. That's a shame, but you know, that was my fallback. So anyway, they do this thing on Mom, and you know, I come back and they said, well, there wasn't a lot in there, but we discovered some other problems with your mom, and they show me these areas, and I'm not going to talk about it here right now, but I'll just say that I was stunned by other stuff. And they said, you didn't do this. That happened at the nursing home. They should be ashamed of themselves. I'd love to see the medical record and see if they even documented it, because I have a feeling they didn't. So I put in a request on Saturday by certified mail, so they had to sign for it as of Monday, saying that I wanted medical records. Just so that y'all know, it's a federal law. It's in the HIPAA, HIPAA, you know, Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, that they have to give you the records. They can charge you per page 75 cents, but if it doesn't cost them that much, they have to charge you the lower fee. But they can charge you up to 75 cents a page. Just so you know, we all are allowed to have that. And asking for it early is easier than trying to get it if you filed a lawsuit against them, because then, you know, they'll try to fight it. Eventually you'll get it, but it could be a while. But I wanted the records anyway. I got the records from the other place, and of all things, the hospice people got the records from the hospital, which I had been trying to get for the 2 times Mom was there. So anyway, Mom is just, now she's a little bit more alert, but still not where I need it. So then we had yesterday. Yesterday was Tuesday. And the nurse comes with someone. So now we get the nurse. And the nurse is checking Mom out, and she's saying, yeah, you know, this stuff, since we discovered this area, you've been putting stuff on it, that looks better. The heel looks better. And then they start doing stuff with Mom, different than what the therapist had done. And Mom actually tried to get up. Now, she didn't have the strength to do it, but she tried to get up on her own. I'm like, whoa, who is this woman? She had nothing, and you guys have got her to this place where she's trying. She says, yes, this is what they should have been doing. You know, this should not have started here. They should have been doing that in a nursing home. Seeing that she needs to build strength up, and she has to do that, and they messed it up totally. I said, well, get out of here. Look at that. So, you know, we did that, and then they did a couple of other checks, and then they gave me some advice on different things I could do for her and to try to do for her after they leave. And I'm like, wow, we actually have a plan now. And just my whole demeanor changed, and her demeanor changed, because, you know, they told me sit her up more during the day. And as they sat her up, she didn't fall asleep. And I said, well, I hadn't been sitting her up because I was worried about her sliding out of the chair, and it's just me, and I still have the bad shoulder. She says, no, you put the stuff between her legs like you had. She's not going anywhere. I said, well, she slid down a little bit. She says, but that's fine, because with your legs up, she can only slide down so far. So I had been doing something right, but it seemed that it was going to be stronger than what I thought. So that's been great. The last couple of days, I have sat her up. I have done the test where I will get her to the edge of the thing. You have to wait till her feet are down on the floor. And then it's like, you know, bring the thing over. And she's been trying to push up. She can't fully get up, but she'd been laying down for like 3 or 4 weeks. So it's like, look at you. You're doing the stuff. And like I said, she's more alert. They had brought her this doll, and she started playing with it. She only played with it a couple hours. After they left, she played 1 more hour. It's like, okay, I'm done with the doll. and I now have got her eating applesauce. She loves the applesauce, which then allows me to give her this drink, Glucerna, which is the stuff I buy for her, and I can mix the pills in it, and she loves it. I just tell her it's chocolate milk, and she loves that. And if I give her a little applesauce first, then I can get her to drink almost anything. Eating is still problematic. The therapist had thought she might eat a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. She wasn't eating that. I put together where I chopped this chicken really fine and mixed it with mashed potatoes. She will only eat a few spoonfuls of that, and then that's it. I'm going to try scrambled eggs again to see if I can get her to eat it, but the thing is, she doesn't have her uppers in. They had the uppers in for about 30 hours, and then she pushed them back out, which means they're not clicking in, and at some point I still have to get her to a dentist. But she's a different person. I mean, I'm doing this video right now, and it's almost 9 o'clock, and she's still awake. Now, she did sleep a long time earlier today. One of her old friends from out of town came to visit her and sit with her for a while, and she got her. She's a former nurse. See, I know a lot of medical people, and you just don't think about it, but yes. So she did the thing where she brought the chair up while I was gone to see if Mom would do it. She said yes, and she tried. She couldn't get up, but she tried. I said, thank you for that. I was worried about you doing it, and I was worried about it because she's 73 years old, but she's still healthy. She goes to Pilates classes, so, you know, she's no shrinking violet. So there you go. Yes, Mom will sleep some during the afternoon, but you know, that's after she's tried to do this stress thing, whatever, but she's woken up now. I tried to get her to eat some more chicken and stuff. She ate just a little bit of that, but she ate some apple juice, and she drank the juice that I gave her that I crushed the pills in. You know what? That's a good night. So, you know, she's a lot better. And so my life right now is a lot better. You know, I'm going to be laying out a lot more money to have different people coming in who have certain skills, who are going to help her with the physical therapy, who are helping me to wash her in the morning certain days. Some days it's still all on me, and during the day when I have to change something, it ain't easy, but I have at least gotten a little bit better with the process. I've also realized I have to do a lot more stretching on my arm because I thought that by lifting her that was going to help me with physical therapy, and it doesn't work that way. It goes the other way. It counters everything that they've been doing. So I've gotten really stiff. So I'm doing a lot more stretching, and you know what? As long as it all works in the end, I'm good with it. So there you go. I had to do this video because I wanted to, you know, mention this is how this is. You know, if your loved one is in a nursing home, you need to check them all the time. And if they get in that catatonic state, you need to kind of put up a stink as much as you can, but nicely, because like I said, they're all understaffed and they don't have the time to take care of your loved one in there as well as you probably could, but you may not be able to. I mean, this is not totally easy. You know, I could say it was easy because she was sleeping all the time, but the stress level on me was really high. It really was. I thought, you know what, she's only going to be here 6 months, and that's it. And now these people have come who I can trust, and they're telling me, nah, we got her. She's going to be good. Whew. So anyway, that's what I wanted to mention. I'm happier than I had been in the time she's home. I'm still waiting for me in the nursing home to have some battles. We're going to have some. I've already kind of reported it to Medicare, and we're going to see what happens. Anyway, my name is Mitch Mitchell. Here it is. It's a one-off. Like I said, we'll see if I put anything else out before the end of August. If not, at least I've shared this. And, you know, if y'all are dealing with something like this, you know, let me know your issues. Hopefully, maybe I've said something that will help you go back to some of these people. And that's all I got. Y'all take care.